Hello, everybody. We are live. We are we are live late, but you know what? It's a Saturday night, and I thought, why not? Because we have had some family in town, and it has been wild, and we got our things set up to have an amazing show tonight. Tonight, we are previewing Michael Santos videos. We have them all set up and lined up for you. Oh my goodness, we've taken a couple days and got some incredible things ready. We have a real Jenga game. I don't know if you can see back there, the real one, the big one, and it's going to be fantastic. We have got some previews for you. And let me tell you something. I met Justin Paperny about a month ago, and he was in Club Fed, which, if you don't know, is white collar prison. So, white collar prison has some interesting things like no barbed wire, no fences, and they were dropping In-N-Out Burger with drones there. Not quite like prison. His interview is coming out soon. But his friend Michael Santos spent his first year in solitary and then 9,500 days in prison. And he came out successful. Like successful, how we would measure success, being able to have a job and work and do all the things and helping other people. And that's why we're going to share him, because I think if you are at all interested in court and legal things and the justice system, it's the goal, right? Is to send people to prison to do their time, but also we want them to come out and not be institutionalized and do some incredible things. So we're just going to kick off right away with one of the videos of Michael Santos so that you can hear what it was like. What was a day like in prison? Let's find out. You ready? Everyone wants to know, what was a typical day like for you when you were in prison, either in solitary and or out?
It would depend at different stages of the journey. All right. I went in prison very young. So I was 23 during that first year in solitary. And it was really, the beginning was feeling sorry for myself and saying, this isn't fair until the jury convicted me. And then reading those books was recognizing I'd better do better. I better find a way to make amends. Then I got sentenced. And once I got sentenced, I felt, okay, I've hit bottom. Now it's time to start building a ladder and climbing my way out. And so it became very important for me to find a way to get into school. And I started writing letters to universities and explaining who I am and where I am. I'm in a very bad, I made some really bad decisions and I want to do better. And, you write one letter, you might not get a response, but you keep writing. I was eventually able to find a school. And all of a sudden, then I became a student. I didn't feel like I was just a prisoner. And once I was a student, then there were confidence. You start to build confidence and you start to grow. And so then it became very important to get through those academic credentials, because it was one way of differentiating myself and showing I didn't want to be a criminal. And then it became leveraging that to develop relationships and mentor relationships and become an author. And then I got married, and then, but all of that really influenced my time in there. I was very committed to fitness as a young man and learning. And that's what got me through 9,500 days of prison.
Oh my gosh, 9,500 days of prison. Did you hear that? While Michael was in prison, he got his bachelor's degree, he got his master's degree, and he got halfway through his PhD before the prison said, maybe we should make you stop going to school. He wrote several books. And then he's brilliant. While he was in prison for 9,500 days, he contacted universities and said, hey, I'm in here. I want to make amends. You should study me. And they did. And while they were doing that, you know what happened? A woman came down there and they started talking and they fell in love, and she married him in prison. And they were married for 10 years before he was released to the halfway house for another full year. And then he got out. His story is fascinating. Let's move on. Let's hear what it was like for him when he first started. What motivated you to help other people and not just want to walk away from this and forget it forever?
Well, so I was very fortunate that at the start of my journey in 1987, I started in solitary confinement. So I'd never been incarcerated before, but I was in the hole for the first year of my prison term. And since I'd never been in prison, I really didn't know that prison was any different. I just thought that's what it was going to be like. And I went to trial, as I said, and it was after a jury convicted me, but before I was sentenced, that a very kind officer in the jail brought me some books, and those books really changed my life. One of them was Frederick Douglass, who was born during the era of slavery. He was born as a slave, lived the first 20 years in slavery, but then he escaped. And I remember reading that book because when you're in prison, it's kind of like what you feel. You feel that way, even though, I was there for my own own bad decisions. When he escaped, he didn't go on to just live his life. He went to try and become a force for good. And so he had to learn how to read and write and communicate. And then he became a force for the abolition of slavery. And I remember reading that book in that solitary cell and thinking, well, maybe that's something I can do while I'm in here, is find a way to make amends and atone. And that led to another book, which was the Republic by Plato, which really helped me see the world from a different perspective. Instead of looking at it from what I was going through, think about what could I do to make an impact on society. And it led me to start thinking about people like you and your readers. And that really had a big change on my life. And it guided me through the 26 years that I served.
Isn't that incredible? That is exactly what we want, right? We want to have people go, they do their time, they come out, they are successful. And he's successful. And do you know what he's doing now? He is coaching other people who are about to go to prison. He offers it for free because he set up businesses while he was in prison. He had a lot of help, but he reached out. He also had 26 years to set these things up, and he just did a really good job of taking care of things. And that's why I wanted to share his story with you, because a lot of us watch court on YouTube. There's a lot of court, and we see all different kinds of things. And I think people make assumptions when people go to prison. They really, I don't know, people judge. People do a lot of judging. And there's, they've committed crimes. He freely opened up and admitted that he committed crimes. But he served his time, and then he came out successful. And that is, I don't know, it makes me very happy to see that. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, is Michael Santos and what he's done. And if you all are interested, we will have links, and his interview will be coming out tomorrow. It is available right now for members only, but tomorrow you will be able to see the full interview. It is absolutely fascinating. And like I said, his friend Justin Paperny his interview will come out next week. And he is the one who was in Club Fed. So he had committed white-collar crimes. So his things were a little bit different. And for those of you who are just joining us, we are talking about people who have been in prison, who have come out and are successful. Because as we're watching court, as you know, we see lots of things. And then you wonder about what happens to the people afterwards, especially people that do a lot of time. Michael, that we just watched, he was only 23 when he went to prison, and there are a lot of you joining us. So I'm going to show you this video of what it was like. Everyone wants to know, what was a typical day like for you when you were in prison, either in solitary and or out?
It would depend at different stages of the journey. All right. I went in prison very young. So I was 23 during that first year in solitary. And it was really, the beginning was feeling sorry for myself and saying, this isn't fair until the jury convicted me. And then reading those books was recognizing I'd better do better. I better find a way to make amends. Then I got sentenced. And once I got sentenced, I felt, okay, I've hit bottom. Now it's time to start building a ladder and climbing my way out. And so it became very important for me to find a way to get into school. And I started writing letters to universities and explaining who I am and where I am. I'm in a very bad, I made some really bad decisions and I want to do better. And, you write one letter, you might not get a response, but you keep writing. I was eventually able to find a school. And all of a sudden, then I became a student. I didn't feel like I was just a prisoner. And once I was a student, then there were confidence. You start to build confidence and you start to grow. And so then it became very important to get through those academic credentials, because it was one way of differentiating myself and showing I didn't want to be a criminal. And then it became leveraging that to develop relationships and mentor relationships and become an author. And then I got married, and then, but all of that really influenced my time in there. I was very committed to fitness as a young man and learning. And that's what got me through 9,500 days of prison.
9,500 days. If you're joining us, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, do all the things. You know what to do. And then tomorrow when the interview comes out, it will be, you'll get it. Hit the little notification bell thing. It'll be awesome because you do want to hear his whole story. It's incredible. Can anyone say in the chat, what do you think motivated him to start dealing the drugs that led to prison? I will give you a hint. It was a movie. He was inspired by a movie to go out and commit crimes, which he did apparently quite well until he got caught. And then, 9,500 days, guys. I can't even imagine. Can you? Also, while we're thinking about that and we are talking about what motivated him to start that, let's talk about the holidays. Let's stop talking about depressing things for just a minute. What are you doing this week? Now, you may celebrate Christmas. You may celebrate other things. We personally celebrate Christmas and are a little bit behind this year in getting everything together. And we're going to be fighting the crowds tomorrow in traffic. I don't know about you. We're a little bit lucky here that we don't have too much traffic, but it's still not going to be fun at the stores, I think. Who in the chat is all ready? Are you ready and done with all your things? Because, I wish I was. Or that we could hire an assistant to go do all the things. Am I right? Hello, Ronan. It's nice to see you. It is nice to see all the new faces in here. You guys are incredible. If you like to watch Court, this channel, I interview judges, lawyers, legislators, and starting this week, ex-convicts, because we want to get the whole rounded view of the justice system. The people that run it, the people that make the laws, the people that enforce them. We've got some sheriffs coming up soon, and the people who have been in it. So, very, very important. So that we know, we think we know how the justice system works, but there are a lot of very interesting intricacies. And I've noticed that there's some new people joining us. We're talking about Michael Santos, who spent 9,500 days in prison and came out to be an incredible success. So I have got another video where we are going to talk a little bit about the system and the way it used to be. Things are changing a little bit. So let's check this out. Gotten better, but it was really intense for a little while. People with a little bit of drugs could go away for a long time, and people that committed more violent crimes were getting let go. Is it still like that? And do you think that that's right?
Well, I was convicted during a different era, right? Ronald Reagan was the president at that time, and it was the start of the war on drugs. And I was not just selling a little bit. I was they have a crime that's called, it's popularly known as the Kingpin Statute, where you have a control over 5 or more people. There's 3 or more overt acts and substantial amounts of money, which may be subjective. But in my case, it was, I would say, anybody would say it was substantial amounts of money. There was no violence or guns, but the government really wanted me to cooperate against other people. I didn't do that, and I paid the price. I went to trial. I paid the price. I didn't accept responsibility or remorse, and I paid a price. So I don't if somebody was convicted of that kind of crime, it's a little bit different than just regular drug trafficking, because you're convicted of being a leader and an organizer. And there are more. I thought that I was shielding myself from prosecution by hiring other people to do it, but I was actually committing a greater crime. And that's all the wisdom of a 20-year-old, that you don't know what you're doing. Do I think it's right or wrong? I'm a big believer that we should change the way we measure justice in America. Instead of measuring justice by the turning of calendar pages, I think we should, as a society, would be far better off if we focused on, measuring justice by an individual's efforts to reconcile with society or atone and live as a law-abiding citizen. And I would say that we should have, that's really a staple of my work, is to get people to learn that we should work toward earning freedom through merit and not just through the turning of calendar pages. So I would submit that if any of American were to say, what do we want our prison system to produce? Well, we want people to come home as law-abiding, contributing citizens. But our system doesn't get that result. It results in intergenerational cycles of failure and the proliferation of gangs and unemployment and homelessness. And there are just a series of collateral consequences that follow with long-term imprisonment.
All right. It's just so incredible that he could come out and do all that. And also, Crockett, thank you for sharing what you went through, because, it's a lot. I think one of my children used to do all this research on the drug laws. And do I think that, I know there's a whole thing with violence and all that sort of thing, but people that just have a little bit, I don't know, it just blows my mind that they can get put away for a lot longer than violent crimes. So, but clearly, Mr. Santos was doing a little bit more than, whatever. And, but he did, he did his time, he did his thing, and now he is teaching people. If you are just stopping by, I would love it if you would subscribe. And if, that's absolutely not cool. No, it is not. Not advocating for any kind of drugs, by the way, not at all. He did very clearly do his time, and he does push other people to admit what they've done, not perjure themselves, and accept responsibility. That is a big thing that their company does, because he actually goes out and coaches other people who are going to prison, who are on their way to prison. They coach people that are going to white-collar prison and regular prison, and just let them know how to get through and how to be successful. Because that's what we want, right? We want people to come out and be better. We don't want them to go in and learn how to commit more crimes and be better at that when they get out. So that is why we covered that. On this channel, we also interview judges, and I'm going to be doing a Texas tour in the springtime. And so what we're going to do is we play games, and we play a Jenga game. And then if you do a super chat, you get to pick which block I pull, and I will pull a block. And then whoever wins that day, we will end up getting to that judge. We are at Judge Flesher has 9 points and Judge Boyd has 7. They are neck and neck, and probably will go to both, but whoever wins, that's who we're going to go to first. What are we going to do when we get there? Well, we're going to give you a behind the scenes view of the courthouse and potentially the jail. That is one of the goals, to get Jen Hardy in the jail. Not because I've committed a crime, mind you, just to do some filming and show you all things that you don't normally see here, or most places actually. So that is the plan. Yes, Sandy, I think you're right. The whole drug thing it's just not good. Especially when they're selling to people who are younger and they get hooked early, and you all know the thing. It's a thing. Which is why here on the Jen Hardy Show, we have Voices of Justice, and we do educate people about the justice system and what it's like. Judge Fleischer, for example, likes to educate people so that they understand the consequences before they commit a crime, because that is really and Dave, go ahead and do it. That's what I say. Just if you even have a question, go for it. Anyway, it is really nice to see all of you fresh faces in here. We are talking about Michael Santos today, and with his permission, he is. If you would like to have Michael Santos come live on the show, let me know. He said if enough people are interested, he will be joining me. After the holidays are over. Personally, I think it would be wonderful. 9,500 days in prison, came out with a master's degree, almost a PhD, had written several books, gotten married, started some businesses, and now helps people navigate prison successfully. Not something that you hear about very often. And that is why I just wanted to feature him and his partner, Michael Paperny, who coaches people who are going to white collar prison. Completely different thing, and you'll be hearing his story next week. So make sure you subscribe, because if you subscribe, you will get the video when it comes out tomorrow, the interview of Michael Santos. You guys, can you even imagine? He was 20 when he was inspired by Scarface to go out and do the things he did. He says weapon free, so that is the deal with that. But he was caught at 23, and while they were doing his trial and everything, he spent a year at the age of 23 in solitary confinement. Altogether, he spent 9,500 days in prison. Not only lived to tell about it, but lived to be successful and do all kinds of great things. So we will be playing our Jenga game in a few minutes. So everybody who does a super chat gets to pick. Do we pick a Judge Fleischer block, or do we pick a Judge Boyd block? And which one are we going to go to see first? And I noticed that there are a lot of new people here, and that is amazing. This is the Jen Hardy Show. We have Voices of Justice, where we interview judges, lawyers, legislators, and now ex-convicts. And we are showing some clips today from a new video that's coming out tomorrow, not next week, with Michael Santos. So that's what's happening. And let's talk Christmas. All right, guys, what is your favorite Christmas? Two things, movie and song. Different people have different ideas of what makes a good Christmas movie or a Christmas song. Personally, I like perky things. I like things that make me smile and things that make me happy, like Elf and Christmas Vacation. And Lexa, 6 months of membership today. That is incredible. That is so exciting, you guys. And I just have to point it out because it came up on the thing. That is absolutely amazing, because we haven't had memberships much longer than 6 months because we just started. You super chatted? Ooh, I didn't see it. Okay, Lexa, who do you pick? Let me know who you pick. And then, oh no, she didn't. We're celebrating. We're celebrating Lexa. So Lexa is also my first mod outside of my producer slash husband slash best friend Dave, who you see in the chat. And the two of them are incredible. And I just want to say thank you to both of you for keeping it clean and nice in here. I don't know if you all are new and how much you know about it, but we tend to get a lot of, work for our mods here at this channel when we go live. And I can't even tell you how much I appreciate you. So, and we miss our other mod because we lost Jay, and that's been rough. So, we miss you, Jay. That's as much as I can say about that. Anyway, all right. So, Christmas movies, Christmas songs. Lexa, what is your favorite Christmas movie or song? Let's see. Oh, Dave, what is your favorite Christmas song? Dave has got a funny Christmas song. And oh my gosh, we have the same playlist we have listened to for the last 20 years of Christmas songs, all upbeat. I'm not a fan of sad things around the holidays, but some people like that. Are you one of those people? Let us know in the chat. I would really like to hear you guys. And hear what you like. And, maybe you don't celebrate Christmas. Maybe you celebrate something else, or maybe you just skip the season altogether. I think there's a lot more people doing that lately, because there's just been a lot of stuff the last few years. Am I right? I don't know. So if you are new, just go over there and hit that like and subscribe button for me, will you? It would be very helpful for the channel and for me personally, actually, just let YouTube know that, hey, you know what, we're enjoying this. We've got some really incredible things coming up. I noticed that there are a lot of new people, and I have 3 clips, and I'd really, really like to show one. Do you mind, if you have seen it, do you mind if I show it one more time? Because I just feel like Michael's story is so incredible. If you're joining us, we're talking about Michael Santos. He spent 9,500 days in the prison. Yeah, guys, he did. And I think we need longer clips. So let me know. Do you also want longer clips? I know the Judge Boyd one went over really well. That was 17 minutes. And maybe we could just, I don't know, show more things live, or, the 12 Pains of Christmas. You all, if you have not listened to the 12 Pains of Christmas, you need to. I guarantee. If you've stopped by here and you are listening to this stuff about Michael, you're going to appreciate that song. It's kind of like the 12 Days of Christmas, but it talks about all those things, like in-laws and stringing up the lights and the things that drive you crazy. Yeah, all in there. Oh my gosh, I'm yawning. It is Saturday night. And oh, Alexa, if you have not heard that song, you've got to listen. You will laugh so hard. It is hysterical. So, anyway, what else have we got going on? Well, we have got the lost episode of Judge Fleischer, which will be coming out. We have interviewed him twice. There are 2 interviews with Judge Fleischer, and a 3rd one is coming. It was not going to come out of the vault, kind of like a Disney thing, how like they lock things up, but it's going to, because, well, there's a lot of things going on in LawTube on YouTube, guys. If you follow court, you may notice some channels are not showing up right now, and things have changed. Oh, thank you. You like my, yeah, you know what? Oh, look, see, you ready? Look at that. I went to a YouTube party, and so I got like fancy nails, and I have a ring to match them, and wow, you probably don't care if you're a dude, but there you go. You got to see them anyway. I have a lot of fun with that. This is lots of blingy stuff is fun. Oh my goodness. Well, Dave, that's not one of my favorite Christmas songs. The 12 Pains of Christmas, though. All right. Lexa, what's your favorite Christmas movie? I feel like you're either a person that likes the really touching ones or really funny ones, or maybe one of each. I don't know. Okay. There we go. Is that a Christmas song, Nathan? I don't know, but we can see. Okay. Anyway, so here's another question. Inflatables. Christmas inflatable. Like the thing people put in their yard. Do you like them? Do you not like them? I used to not like them. My husband loves them. And I kind of fought them for a little while. I had like hand painted this Grinch thing and done this whole thing. The Grinch is gone now. We are going to become one of those yards of like guys. So what did we get? We got it is. Okay, that's cool. We'll check it out. Oh, Christmas Story. Oh my gosh, Lexa. Okay. I was thinking Wonderful Life or Christmas Story for you. And there we go. Mine are Elf and Christmas Vacation, guys. I love the vacation movies. Not really European Vacation, not really my kind of thing. But the original one and the Christmas one, you can't beat Chevy Chase. Oh my gosh. And Elf. It's just hysterical. Candy canes, candy corn, and syrup. And I think those should be the food groups. So, there's that. Not really, that I'm being silly. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know, Margot. I just love it. Oh my gosh. Where's the blanket? Dave got me a quilt of Christmas Vacation, and it is not out. We need to get it out. Oh my gosh. You guys, you're stopping by, you're scrolling by. You got to tell me in the comments, what's your favorite Christmas movie? Because I would like to know. Also, I made a thing of kind of sassy, put a finger down Christmas, and oh my gosh, it's kind of hysterical. It's kind of like for, I don't know, I guess it's for people who aren't very nice. I don't know. I was kind of feeling snarky when I did it. It is what it is. Okay, so let's see. What else are we doing? Well, if we get some super chats, then we can move over to the Jenga thing. And guess what we've done? We've set up a second camera because we are being so techie here. I took a couple days off and I got everything set up in the studio. You may see a little bit of reality in here because there may be a little bit of a mess. But you know what? It is what it is. So I will invite you in and you will see how things are. Is your house perfect before you get ready for Christmas, or is it kind of messy? Do you mess things up as you're cleaning? Like when you do a deep clean, does it get messier first and then clean? Or are you one of those spectacular people that just makes it look beautiful as you go? I tend to make a mess and then it's beautiful. I don't know. It is what it is. But speaking of those vacation movies, yes, Lexa, they are awesome. I don't know. There's just something relatable about them. Elf, Home Alone, Just Friends. Ooh, I don't know Just Friends, Jesse. So that's cool. And Home Alone, I forgot about Home Alone. Oh, we got a super chat. Lexa, what? Okay, Lexa, you get to pick a judge. Now, here's the problem. I got a new Jenga set. I got a real Jenga set, Judge Boyd. Okay, awesome. I had gotten the Dollar Tree ones, but you know what? Those Jenga things aren't right. And so I know Lexa super chatted, and so I'm going to write it down on my whiteboard, and then when I get a couple, I'm going to move over there and we're going to do them all because it's going to be cool. So we're going to do the ones that go in one way are Boyd and Flesher because we got to write their names on there. I got these little stickers to put on my Jenga blocks, but guess what? The stickers are too big. So now I got to figure out what I'm going to do because when you write with a pen on the wood, it gets funky on there. Anyway, so okay, we should have a contest to see which movies people like better. We've got a Elf, a Home Alone, Just Friends, a Christmas Vacation, which would be me. Well, I guess, and I'm Elf. That's two elves, and then we've got a a Christmas Story. All right, these are all the classics. I don't know. What do you guys think about that one? Oh my gosh, what is the one? The classic one, the old one. Oh my gosh, and I can't even think of the guy's name. The one where he's like walking and he's really depressed and he like reflects on his life. And if you ring a bell, an angel gets its wings. Do you know what I'm talking about? I find that super depressing. Do you guys like that movie? What do you think? It's a Wonderful Life. That's what it is. Yes. And yes, the end is wonderful and everyone's like, But until then, I don't know. I find it sad. Ooh, Just Friends, Ryan Reynolds. Okay. I love Ryan Reynolds. Who doesn't like Ryan Reynolds? He's like the guy next door. And he was in that video game movie, wasn't he? Oh my gosh, that was really good. I liked that. That was amazing. There was a really deep breath that happened, and there is no one in this room. I don't know what happened. Yes, Lexa, It's a Wonderful Life. Thank you so much. What do you think, Lexa? Dave does not like that. I don't either. I just find it sad. I think any Christmas movie that starts with dealing with the S word is sad. And S word I say because we got to watch what we say. It's a whole thing. Anyway, if you're just joining me, today we're talking about Christmas and we're talking about prisoners and ex-convicts, all the things that go together because that's the kind of channel that this is. We just have a whole bunch of different things. So if you're interested in the justice system and hearing from people that have been in jail or people that put people in jail, we've got all sides here. And we've got some clips from an interview that's coming out with a gentleman that spent 9,500 days in prison. It just still blows my mind. And you guys, I think you're really going to like him. I really do. Michael is just an incredible guy. And so is his friend Justin. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because when I interview people, I do a real deep dive and research them before I interview them so that I know what to ask. And I know ahead of time what they're like and what you might want to hear. And so I feel like I know them. And I feel like everyone that's come on the show is my friend. And it's really fun. And so, yeah, it's interesting. It makes the interviews better, I think. Some people think so. Some people don't. I also like to ask questions and let the people talk and answer and just keep rambling on because that's where you hear the things that you don't hear anywhere else. Some people don't care for that. But personally, you wouldn't believe the kind of things that people have said to me when I let them give me a really long answer. Some of them you can never hear, let me tell you what, because I think they feel like we're friends too, and they just get comfortable and talk about all kinds of things that make it interesting. Hello to everybody who's new. We are going to show a clip of Michael Santos. He spent 9,500 days in prison, came out successful, and he is going to talk about the system. gotten better, but it was really intense for a little while. People with a little bit of drugs could go away for a long time, and people that committed more violent crimes were getting let go. Is it still like that? And do you think that that's right?
Well, I was convicted during a different era, right? Ronald Reagan was the president at that time, and it was the start of the war on drugs. And I was not just selling a little bit. I was. They have a crime that's called. It's popularly known as the Kingpin Statute, where you have a control over 5 or more people. There's 3 or more overt acts and substantial amounts of money, which may be subjective. But in my case, it was, I would say, anybody would say it was substantial amounts of money. There was no violence or guns, but the government really wanted me to cooperate against other people. I didn't do that, and I paid the price. I went to trial. I paid the price. I didn't accept responsibility or remorse, and I paid a price. So I don't. If somebody was convicted of that kind of crime, it's a little bit different than just regular drug trafficking, because you're convicted of being a leader and an organizer. And there are more. I thought that I was shielding myself from prosecution by hiring other people to do it, but I was actually committing a greater crime. And that's all the wisdom of a 20-year-old, that you don't know what you're doing. Do I think it's right or wrong? I'm a big believer that we should change the way we measure justice in America. Instead of measuring justice by the turning of calendar pages, I think we should, as a society, would be far better off if we focused on, measuring justice by an individual's efforts to reconcile with society or atone and live as a law-abiding citizen. And I would say that we should have. That's really a staple of my work, is to get people to learn that we should work toward earning freedom through merit, and not just through the turning of calendar pages. So I would submit that if any of American were to say, what do we want our prison system to produce? Well, we want people to come home as law-abiding, contributing citizens. But our system doesn't get that result. It results in intergenerational cycles of failure and the proliferation of gangs and unemployment and homelessness. And there are just a series of collateral consequences that follow with long-term imprisonment.
So, what do you think about that? Should we continue to keep people locked up based on the amount of days that they were given when they were sentenced? Or should we let them get out early we already let them get out for like merit, but what he's saying is that people can earn their way out earlier by contributing to society and allowing them to contribute to society. I think it's a fine line, really, isn't it? What do you all think? I'm really curious to know, because these are questions that a lot of people don't really think of. But isn't he, Lexa? He really is phenomenal. And, to have been in solitary confinement for a year at 23 years old, and then to spend 26 years. So here's another fascinating thing about Michael, who spent all that time in jail. He went into prison in 1987, came out in 2012. Do you know what that means? Computers, household computers weren't a thing when he went in. People had them when they got out. Cell phones, he had to learn how to use a cell phone. Tablets, anything tech like that, it was all brand new to him. He talks about that in the interview. It was like a time warp. He said it's exactly like if we were to go in today and get out in the year 2050. That's exactly the time difference. Can you even imagine what that would be like? I cannot. Or to be 23, his original sentence was 45 years. Can you imagine being 23 years old and being sentenced to prison for 45 years? Oh my gosh. And so the laws changed. He was able to get out early, but also he did a lot of really good things that helped him earn his way out. And that interview will be out tomorrow on this channel. So be sure to subscribe so that it gets delivered to you, because even if you're not a justice system junkie like a lot of us are, you're going to be very fascinated by his story, only because it's just an incredible human story. And we're all humans. So, all right, so we've got Lexa with a super chat. Okay, now we are going to attempt the incredible moving of the cameras, guys. So this is a first. Are you ready? So we're going to try to do a little switch, and it's going to be interesting. Here we go. Now, we have got this guy. We got this guy here. Hello, this guy. And this guy. There we go. All right, we have moved. We've moved over here to the Jenga. How fun is this? Wait, come on, guy. All right, this little camera, I call him my R2CU because he tracks my face and I don't have to do anything. Okay, this is our Jenga game. So if they are facing this way, it's going to be Flesher, and if they're facing sideways, it's going to be Boyd. So I am going to pull out one Boyd block because Lexa did a super chat and she earned Boyd. But you know what I forgot to check? Lexa, what row am I going to go through? We start at 1 here, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. You can't hear me, can you? Can you hear me? Yeah, because we've got this guy. It's a different kind of sound. All right, you ready? We're going over here. Ah, and he's got to track my face. So, Lexa, which one are we doing? Well, you did not tell me. So, we're going to go, I'm going to make it kind of easy on myself and take a Boyd from kind of up here at the top. Let's see if we can do it. Let's see. All right, we're going to pull this one right here. Oh my goodness, you guys. So if it falls over, if the tower falls over, Lexa gets a shirt or a mug, because that's the deal, because I have to pay a penalty if I knock the tower over. But at least we've got a tower on the desk. And are you ready? We've got a Judge Boyd block. All right, guys. Boom. All right. And that weighs the scale down, because the other ones weren't really weighing it down. So far, we have got 9 votes for Judge Fleischer, 8 votes for Judge Boyd. And so far, I will be going to see Judge Fleischer. But, you know, we've got a few more months of this thing. So you never know what's going to happen. And it's kind of exciting. And I like this game. And I like it. And I like that you all can win prizes. That is really, really cool. You can kind of see my office. It's a little bit messy. We've got this over here. We've got some Jen Hardy things. And then in the back there, lots of Lego. We are a Lego family. I don't know about you. What do you think about Lego? Let us know in the chat. Because, you know, it's kind of cool. All right, you ready? We're going to move back over here. Boom! And we are back. We are back to the regular camera. All right, that was fun. I don't know. Row 5. Okay, it was close. It was row 4 because there wasn't a 5 for Boyd. So we were spot on. That's the thing. I'm going to have to set up. See, this is interesting. I'm learning all these new things going live with you all, and it's a lot of fun. I need to set up a little YouTube screen over there so that when I have the other camera, I can see what you're saying, because that's an important thing. Let's see what else. What have we got coming up? Oh my gosh, I had an interview today with Chrissy from Court with Chrissy. She is a law tuber that I had not heard of. Thank you, Lexa. That's so cool. I am learning. I got some incredible software, and it's just going to get better and better every day, you guys. Every day we go live, going to be new and exciting things. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe and all that stuff, because, you know, that's why we're here. And really, it really does help. People say it helps, and it does. You know, the algorithm, all the algorithm is a little computer that says, do people interact with you or do they not? And if you do, there you go. It shows me to more people, just like everybody else. So, and if you don't want to like and subscribe here, go like and subscribe the next guy that you really like, because, you know, people are working hard. So anyway, what do we have coming up? Court with Chrissy. So I had not heard of her, and we just found her. Dave actually found her, and she shows a lot of judges and court that are not in the circle that I have been in. And so I'm excited to share her with you in the next coming weeks. We are going to hopefully be interviewing some sheriffs. If you're watching and you know some police or sheriffs that would like to be interviewed, please let them know about the channel or go to our Discord. Dave, can you send our Discord link into the chat for me? And people can let me know who they would like to see, because I am thrilled to start this new year off getting the people on the show that you want. We also have a lot of new things with Judge Fleischer coming up, because we've had a little bit of extra time with him lately, which I believe is a good thing, because there are some changes coming to some other channels. And yeah, you can get the scoop here. So, but not quite yet. Not quite yet, but pretty soon. lots of changes coming in 2025. Can you believe that it's almost 2025? I cannot. Time is going way too fast. Yeah, if y'all want to join the Discord, it's relatively quiet in there. It is not too busy. You're not going to get 10,000 notifications. Personally, I like that. We just got a nice little crowd in there. Lex is in there, Dave's in there, I'm there. We got 40 people. It's a nice group. And yeah, and then you'll find out what's going on here, which normally we're live Monday and Thursday at 9 Eastern. That may be changing. We'll have to see. I got to talk to my mods and see what is going to happen there. And the time, I don't know. Saturday night seems to be pretty good though, guys. We did this last Saturday night. And when we were live on Monday, we wanted to talk about Michael and show his clips, and we didn't get to because we had a little tech glitch. We had 12,000 people in 1 hour, and that was good. That is a record for the Jen Hardy Show, and to be quite honest, for a lot of shows that I know. So something is going well, and I would love to know what that is and what you like and what you'd like to see. What do you want to know about the justice system? There's been a lot of questions about sovereign citizens. If you are a sovereign citizen or no one, it's another thing like the sheriffs. I would love it if you would come and talk to me, because I would like to interview a sovereign citizen here and let you explain why it is that you believe what you believe. And not to argue, not to whatever, just hear about it, because I find it fascinating. I truly do. That's one thing about interviews here, is there's no trying to trip people up or put them on the spot or make them uncomfortable. And even the people that are elected and are a certain party, one or the other, we don't talk about that here, which makes it very interesting for legislators to be interviewed. They don't get to talk about their platform. What they do get to talk about is themselves as a person, because I think we've lost that in our society and a lot around the world, where people talk about the party and they like or don't like other people based on what political party they are, and I don't care for that. So on the Jen Hardy Show, we bring people on and we talk to them, and you get to know them. And then if you like them, you can look up what party they're in, and you can look up those things that they believe. But until then, you just get to fall in love with them. Let's see. We've had Debbie Davis on. She is a prosecutor. And we have had Josie Garcia on, and she is a legislator. And, they just really talk about them, and they are wonderful people. Two different sides of the political spectrum. And honestly, you would never know, because they're just great people. And can't we get back to talking about that kind of thing? I'm going to get on my soapbox for a minute. Look, guys, we can all be friends. We can believe different things and we can still all be right. Isn't that crazy? My husband Dave taught me that. I did not realize it till I married him, but it's true. Now, there are certain things that are obviously, clearly right and wrong. That's not what I'm talking about. But what I'm talking about is those basic little political things that people are like, no, on social media, and then they can't be friends with each other because one person is red and one person is blue. And I know people are leaving, and I will stop talking in just a minute, but you know what? It's really important to me that we can all just get along again. I miss that. When I was growing up, my dad was a Republican, mom's a Democrat, friends ran for office. We helped them run. It was a blast. It did not matter what side they were on. We just got together and, did signs and whatever, and shook people's hands and talked about what they were into or whatever. And I don't know, we had some very fascinating discussions with people that were on different political sides. We have lost that. We need to get it back. Those conversations can be really, really good. But I don't recommend having them at your Christmas dinner, because then you're going to be stuck at the kids' table, and you don't want to have that either. So wait till after Christmas, and then let's start having those conversations again. Okay, now let's see. I know that those of you who have been with me since the beginning of this have already seen these videos, but I do want to show a clip one more time of Michael Santos when he talks about what a day was like. This gentleman was 23 when he was put in solitary confinement for a year and then spent 9,500 days in prison and came out successful. And here is what it was like when he first went in. Everyone wants to know, what was a typical day like for you when you were in prison, either in solitary and or out?
It would depend at different stages of the journey. All right. I went in prison very young. So I was 23 during that first year in solitary. And it was really the beginning was feeling sorry for myself and saying, this isn't fair until until the jury convicted me. And then reading those books was recognizing I'd better do better. I better find a way to make amends. Then I got sentenced, and once I got sentenced, I felt okay. I've hit bottom. Now it's time to start building a ladder and climbing my way out. And so it became very important for me to find a way to get into school. And I started writing letters to universities and explaining who I am and where I am. I'm in a very bad. I made some really bad decisions, and I want to do better. And you write one letter, you might not get a response, but you keep writing. I was eventually able to find a school, and all of a sudden then I became a student. I didn't feel like I was just a prisoner. And once I was a student, then there were confidence. You start to build confidence and you start to grow. And so then became very important to get through those academic credentials, because it was one way of differentiating myself and showing I didn't want to be a criminal. And then it became leveraging that to develop relationships and mentor relationships and become an author. And then I got married, and then, but all of that really influenced my time in there. I was very committed to fitness as a young man and learning. And that's what got me through 9,500 days of prison.
Can you even imagine? 9,500 days. It's the same as if you went in today and got out in 2050. So amazing. So he talks about books. He read a lot of books, from freed slaves to Plato and Socrates, and learned all kinds of things. And so in the interview, he talks about learning from leaders, but they were leaders from hundreds and thousands of years ago. So it's really amazing. And he talks about calling schools and asking to get into schools because he really wanted to go to college. And because he did that, the schools took an active interest in him, and they would come and talk to him and kind of study him. One of the students ended up falling in love with him, and they got married 10 years before he got out. I can't even imagine. I cannot. I love Dave, and Dave loves me. And 10 years seems like an awful long time before we could be together. Cannot even imagine. We had 1 year, and it was in prison. But that was a really hard year, so I can't imagine 10. But anyway, all right. So that is that, and Michael's interview comes out tomorrow. So be sure that you subscribe so that it's delivered to you. And for the rest of today, we are going to talk about the holidays because, guys, it's holidays. Now, let's talk about traditions. We live on an island. So my favorite Christmas tradition that we have here is called Surfing Santas. And if you don't know what Surfing Santas is, it started in Cocoa Beach. And what people do is they dress up like Santa. Some people dress up like the Grinch or an elf, but mostly Santa. And they get on their surfboards and they surf on Christmas Eve morning. And it is the coolest way to kick off Christmas. Now, last year, it was literally the coolest way because we had snowflakes on the island. We live in a tropical place. We do not normally have snowflakes. My daughter was a surfing Santa for the first time, and it was quite cold even with a wetsuit on. So there wasn't a whole lot of surfing going on with the Santas, although some of those guys, they go out every day. They don't care. But that's the kind of thing that we do here. It's a little bit different. I even got an inflatable seal, an inflatable octopus with little Santa hats to put outside because we have the whole ocean thing going on. And it just makes it a little different. But we don't have snow. Do you have snow where you are? I would love to hear. I can live vicariously through your white Christmas or white holidays. It would be absolutely amazing. So let me know what you do. Lexa and, Dave, I know what you do, but Dave, what is your favorite part of the holidays? What's your favorite tradition? Oh my gosh, speaking of tradition, now that I've said that out loud, I forgot one of our main traditions. And we've never skipped it, which means I'm going to be scrambling the next couple days. We have Christmas pajamas, but not just any Christmas pajamas, because I have to be a little extra for everything I do. So our Christmas pajamas are handmade by me. In that I design, we do the shirts. Like I do the printing on the shirts. I don't actually physically make them. I did used to sew. No. We have 7 children, and many of them now have spouses and significant others, and I'm not hand sewing 14 pairs of pajamas. That seems like a lot. In fact, only the people who will live in our home will be getting the pajamas this year, which is why I waited, but I think I waited too much. So, what we used to do, and this is fun, if you've got younger children, Christmas pajama, I'm gonna, we would have a design contest, and they would all have an art contest, and then whoever design won would get to the t-shirt would be their thing, and then they got a print of that on a sweatshirt too. Okay, Lex says it's opening Christmas jammies on Christmas Eve. That's what we do, Lexa. We'll be doing the same thing. That's so cool. And then taking a picture of all the kids on the stairs in them Christmas morning. That is so cool. So we do the same thing on Christmas Eve. We have the pajamas for a gift. And the younger kids are always like, oh, is that a present? But it is, because then you're all matchies. And then we take a picture in the morning too. But we don't have stairs. So we just stand in front of the tree. There's just something about it. I don't know. As they get older, they get a little bit less into it. Plus, once you stop growing as a kid and you're like grown-up size and then you have 10,000 pairs of pajama pants, it's a thing. But we're still going to do it. They had really cool Grinch ones, but all they had was 3X women. And we could have worn them, but they didn't have any men ones, so we couldn't do that. So if anyone knows where to get a good deal on some jammies at the last minute, let me know, because that is something that I will be doing tomorrow when I take my son out to Christmas shop. You guys, we have run out of time. Even Amazon is not going to get things here. What have I been? Well, I don't know. I've been doing a lot. I've been working some 16-hour days trying to get stuff set up for this channel and our other channels, and go to YouTube parties, which has been cool. Next week, I think we need to make the mochi. Is it mochi? Is that what it's called? Yep. The Japanese ice cream stuff. We went to the the Gaming Awards watch party with them, and I won this, I don't know, ice cream. So I think at one of our lives, we will be making that. Maybe Thursday night, the day after Christmas. I think that would be fun. What do you think? I don't know. I think that would be a good idea. Take you out in the kitchen with me, and we'll have some fun out in the kitchen. That will be something different. And I like it because it's also gluten-free, which many of us are in this house. And so happy for my daughter who is not, but the rest of us, yeah, we are gluten-free. But, it's so much better than it used to be. There is so much stuff out there now. Also, Dave, mwah, to the beef stroganoff you made with no dairy and no gluten. It was phenomenal. I am so thankful that he likes to cook, because I don't, and he's amazing at it. I mean, he's really amazing. In fact, the night we met, he told me about how good he was at cooking, and you had just made that spinach dip with the bread. Remember that? That was the thing. Oh my gosh, you guys. Do you know we were engaged 6 weeks after we met? That is a true story. And they said it wasn't going to work. That was 16 years ago. Clearly, it did. Anyway, it's almost 10:45, and I will be seeing you all on Monday, which is the day before Christmas Eve. What are we going to talk about the day before Christmas Eve? Well, I think we're going to talk about Christmassy things, because that just makes sense. And maybe we'll talk about some New Year's stuff, what we're going to be doing here in the new year, what you're going to be doing in the new year, what you would like to see in the new year. Because really, this channel is all about you. Because if you're not seeing what you want to see, you're going to keep scrolling. And I don't want that. I want to put out some things that you want, that you enjoy. So you got to let me know what that is. Lexa, I would love your input. Yeah, it definitely worked out for us. Oh my gosh. He is the most amazing man in the whole wide world. So thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by. I love you all. Have a phenomenal, phenomenal Sunday. And I will be back in 2 days on Monday. Thanks, Lexa. Yeah, it was really sweet. And, yeah, he's just a great person. So I love you all. And I hope that you get your shopping done, and I hope that I get my shopping done, and we can get together and talk about it all on Monday. Thank you for joining me. You're amazing, and I love you.